Area of rectangles and parallelograms. Area, remember, is the surface measurement of a two-dimensional figure. We use the formula for rectangles of area equals base times height, where B is the length of the base and H is the height of the rectangle. So area is measured in square units. For example, inches times inches is inches squared. Feet times feet is feet squared. Meters times meters is meters squared. Okay, so up here, this is our base. I use the top and the bottom to be my base, and I use the left and the right to be my height. It doesn't matter which one is which, really. Remember, the formula is area equals the base of the figure times the height. So I'm going to plug in my numbers. So I take the B out, and I'm going to put the 8.6 in its place. And I take the H out, and I'm going to put the 3 in its place. Do the multiplication, and we're going to end up at an area of 25.8 centimeters squared. Okay, number 2 uses some fractions, our favorite, I know. Let's change our mixed numbers into improper fractions. So I multiply, and then I add. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 fourths. We keep the denominator. And then 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3 halves. And we're going to use these numbers instead. So formula is going to be, this is our base up here, this is our height over here. Area equals the base times the height. Take the letters out, put the numbers in their place. So I'm going to put 9 fourths here and 3 halves here. That's my height. And we multiply straight across. So 9 times 3 is 27. 4 times 2 is 8. So then I'm going to change this back into a mixed number. Okay. By doing the division. It's 8 into 27. So how many groups of 8 things can I make out of 27 things? That's going to be 3, which uses 24 things. And I'm going to have 3 things left over out of the 8 it takes to make a whole. So I have 3, so the area is 3 and 3/8. Whatever you're dividing by is your denominator. 3/8, and we're doing feet squared. Okay, remember, you can always pause and rewind and rewatch anything. These are also outlined in very good detail with different colors in the completed notes under the resources. Okay, the materials in each lesson. Okay, 2 walls of a room are being painted. So I'm going to draw each wall. And we know that they measure 16 by 8.5 feet. So 16 feet, 16 feet, feet. And then we have 8.5 and 8.5 feet. We can go ahead and change this into a improper fraction again. So 2 times 8 is 16 plus 1 gives us 17 halves. So that's what that changes into. We know that the area of a rectangle is the base times the height. So I take the B out, and I'm going to put, this is our base. Base is the top or the bottom. Height is our left or right. Okay. Base is 16. And the height is going to be, I'm going to use this improper fraction of 17.5. Remember, this is over 1 to make it into a fraction, and we multiply straight across. Or, I know that the numbers that are across from each other can simplify. So 16 can be divided by 2. That makes this 1 and makes this 8. That's a little bit easier to work with. Now it's 8 times 17. Which I think is 136. So that made that a lot easier. 136 feet squared, because we've got 1 on the bottom. That's just a whole number. But I need to know, this is the area of one wall. But what I need to do is, we're painting 2 walls, so I need to get 2 of these areas. So I need to take that 136 and multiply it by 2, which gives me 272 square feet total that I am painting for both walls. Okay, writing formulas. Oops. Okay, formulas can be manipulated to solve for the missing information, just like we did with circumference of a circle and area of a circle. So, for example, area equals base times height can be written as base, if I divide by h on both sides, that would make it go away on this side, and I would have base over equals the area divided by the height. Area divided by the height. Or it can be height, get rid of the b on that side and move it to the left-hand side of the equal sign by dividing, because these are being multiplied. Height equals area divided by base. Area divided by base. So that's all they're doing there. So we're going to use kind of our understanding of how to solve for one variable to answer the rest of the questions. So on number 4, the area of the rectangle is 162. So we know that 162 square meters is the area, what the inside space takes up. And apparently we need to find what the base is. We know what the height is. Okay. So our formula of area equals base times height. Plug in our values. We know the area is 162. We're looking for b, and we know that h is 18. If I want to solve for b, these 2 numbers, since they're sitting next to each other without us being told whether they're being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided, we know that they're being multiplied. So to undo multiplying b by 18, we're going to divide by 18 on both sides. That makes the b go to 1, or the h go to 1 on this side, and we're left with 1b here. And then 162 divided by 18 is going to give us 9 meters. So we know that the base is 9 meters. Or if we know what our formula we want to use is, we're finding b, we don't know what it is, that's our question. We could just go with this formula the way, once it's already manipulated, and plug in our numbers. So this would just be the area, which is 162, divided by the height, which is 18, so we know that base equals 9 meters. Okay, either way works. Okay, let's see, solve each of the problems below. So we've got a rectangular, we have numbers 5 and 6. So what I would do right now is pause the video, see if you can solve, well, go through and work out number 5 and number 6, and then play the video again and see if you get the problems right. So that's what I would do right now. I'm going to continue. Okay, this sucker has a height of 18 inches. We need to find the base, and we know that it covers 225 square inches on a wall, which is our area. So if I draw the figure, it's 225 square inches. We know that the height is 18, and we're looking for the base. So using our formula, area equals base times height. Okay, we don't know what b is, but we know that the height is 18. We know that the area is 225. Divide by 18, because we're multiplying between these two. Okay, that's the sucker. So 225 divided by 18, you can use your calculator, is 12.5 inches. This makes 1b. Okay, so that's our answer for number 5. Number 6, circle all of the formulas below that could be used to find the height of a rectangle. So we're looking for height. Base is 11, and the area is 120. We see that in here. Okay, so using our formula, area equals the base times the height. I would take the A out, put the 120 in its place, take the B out, put the 11 in its place, and then put the H. We're multiplying here, so to undo that, we're going to divide. This goes to a 1H on this side, and 120 divided by 11 puts us here, 120 by 11. So, looking at here, I know that I'm looking for H, so there needs to be an H in my equation. A does not have an H, so this cannot be one that works. Okay, does not work. B does not work either. We're not going to multiply the 120. The area is always, when we move the B or the H over to the other side, it's always dividing. So there should be division, not multiplying. Okay, C is 120 times 11H, and I wrote that right here. 120 equals 11 times H, so that works. D, that'll work because whenever I manipulate my formula and I'm looking for the H, and I want to make this H equals, I would divide by B on both sides. So it would be H equals area over the base, which if I put my numbers in there, oops, sorry, this would be 120 over 11 equals H, and that one works as well. H, the A area always has to be in the top of the fraction, so this one doesn't work. It should be flipped. It should be 120 over 11. Okay? All right, looking at, I gotta hurry, area of parallelograms. This is very similar to the rectangles. The dimensions of a parallelogram are also referred to as the base and the height. Use the same formula, area equals base times height, where B is the length of the base and H is the height of the parallelogram, which makes a 90-degree angle. So the trick on this is you do not use these slanted sides. We would never use that number. We have to use this number that goes straight up and down and makes a 90-degree angle, a right angle. So I would use the 8 centimeters, never this 10 centimeters on that slanted height. It's got to be a vertical, straight up and down line. And our base has to go left or right. So this is our base and this is our height. So formula again is area equals the base times the height. Area equals 12.2 times the 8. You do your math and you're going to get area is 97.6 centimeters squared. Okay, on this next one, let's change this to an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is going to be 5, and we keep our denominator. Okay, so area equals base times the height. This is our base. This is our height. And so now we're going to plug in our values. Base is 6 over 1, and the height is 5 over 2. Multiply straight across. 6 times 5 is 30. 1 times 2 is 2. Half of 30 is 15. So the area of this parallelogram is 15 feet squared. Okay. Always use the straight up and down, makes a 90-degree angle. Never use a diagonal or a slanted line as your height. Never, ever, ever. Okay, so describe the area of a rectangle and the area of a parallelogram with the same dimensions related. So what this is both the rectangle and the parallelogram will have the same area because they follow the same process for finding area. That means area equals the base times the height. You just have to be careful when using the height of the parallelogram. That's what I'm saying. Never use the slanted. Always use the vertical line straight up and down. That's what you have to be careful about. That's what they're saying. Okay. Remember, you can pause and re-listen and watch this over and over again. So use it. All right, guys, see you in the next one.